The worst thing about addiction is that it saps you of your will to do the things that you want to do in life. What do I mean by this? Well, first, a little bit about myself. I have over 20 years of lived experience in active addiction. And today I'm going to tell you the most painful thing about living all those years in active addiction to substances, to alcohol, to pornography, food. At one point I was over 300 pounds because I couldn't control my eating and I was trying to suppress my emotions with food and alcohol and binge drinking and binge eating. And when that wasn't enough, then I turned to harder substances and filling myself with a never ceasing amount of pornography to numb myself from the pain of the life that I was living. Well, what was most damaging and dangerous in those years of addiction wasn't necessarily the pain that I was experiencing. It was the dimming of my light. What I mean by that is the addictions sapped me of my energy to follow my passion, to pursue my creative outlets. I mean, I'm a creative person. I have dreams, I have goals, I have a vision. But when I was in active addiction, slowly over time, my passion was nearly snuffed out. It wasn't entirely extinguished, but the flame inside of me, the light, the brightness, that passion was dimmed. The light, the brightness of my light, of my life inside of me, my soul, my spirit, my being, it was dimmed. Over a certain amount of time in addiction, I slowly stopped caring about my future. I stopped caring about my passions. I was big into music and production and playing at shows and producing music and releasing records and hanging out with others and doing collaborations and meeting people. Well, I lost that spark. I lost the flame to even do that because the drugs and the alcohol took that away from me. The substances supplanted my need to pursue my creative hobbies. And over the years of active addiction, I lost that drive. My drive to create was taken over by my drive to pursue the momentary pleasure provided by the substances and the alcohol and the pornography and the binge eating and the smoking and the drinking. And in exchange for that momentary pleasure, not only was I slowly digging myself a grave, but I was exchanging my passions, my pursuits, my hobbies, my goals, all for the momentary pleasure that offered a fleeting escape from the pain that I was living with, because I wasn't dealing with the emotions, the emotions and the turmoil that everyone experiences as a part of life. I wasn't properly dealing with those things such as loss, sorrow, grieving. I didn't know how to process these emotions. Instead of dealing with them consciously, I suppressed them, and the suppression led to an outlet through the drugs and the alcohol and the self-destructive tendencies. I mean, at a certain point, I didn't want to live anymore, and the only reason why I was living was because the alcohol and the drugs were giving me a way out of the pain that I was feeling without those substances and without those things. And eventually those things took over and replaced my need to pursue creative interests. I stopped writing, I stopped drawing, I stopped creating music. I lost the drive, the spirit, the light of life inside of me. My brightness was just dimmed. And that's what addiction does. Addiction dims the light of life in people, and you'll see this wherever addiction is. If you go into any inner city, You can see the dimmed light of life in all the addicts on the street. It's very sad, it's harrowing. There is like a shroud of darkness that follows addicts around them. You can see it, I can see it, and I lived it, I experienced it. And my life was almost snuffed out by the drugs and the alcohol. I approached a very devastating situation, and it's only by the grace of God that I'm alive today, here before you, and able to relay my message in the chance of inspiring hope for whoever may be experiencing something similar or might be having a loved one who's going through the throes of addiction. It's very easy to look at addicts and judge them as non-humans, as not even being related to us. We dehumanize them because they seem so different, their way of life, and we can never picture ourselves living that way. But the fact is, we see them as so other than ourselves because their light of life has been dimmed. Their light is enshrouded in addiction, and that covers up and it dims the brightness of the light imbued in them by God as aspects of creation. But if they get rid of that addiction, if you throw off the bonds of the flesh, you can reignite that light inside of you. You can grow, you can strengthen the brightness, but only when you get rid of the addiction, because the addiction saps your energy, it saps your life, and it dims your light. So I hope this video finds you well and gives you a little bit of hope for your own future. Give me a like and subscribe, and check out this one for more.